TOEFL listening is one of the biggest mind games they play with you during the test because, let's be real here, TOEFL listening is not about your listening skills at all. I mean, it is, I guess, in a way, but the most important game you have to play is taking notes. They want to test your ability to listen to a stream of information, filter it out, and take notes, just like you would in a classroom. So the secret is learn how to take notes. And in this video, we're gonna master note-taking as well as the entire listening section of TOEFL IBT. So if you're ready, let's do it. So the listening section comes second, right after the reading section, and you're already pretty tired. And they know that, so don't let them win. And try to focus as much as you can. You will hear lectures and conversations in this section. Conversations are a little more difficult, in my opinion, just because it's two people talking, and there are many things that they do to trick you in the conversations. The lectures are a little more streamlined, but again, everything is pretty tough. And you can take notes, and by can, I mean you should, and you only hear each audio, each recording once. So each listening task is anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes long. And you can imagine they are jam-packed with all kinds of information, both relevant and slightly irrelevant. So your job is to filter through the noise and write down, take notes, so you can use that to answer the questions. So here are some of the most important note-taking tips. Please take it to heart and please follow those. Number 1, of course, always remember to write down the main topic, main idea, theme, major points, important details, the structure of what you hear and what you think is the most important. If it's a conversation and a student is coming to the admissions office to transfer to a different program, that's pretty important. And just keep in mind, that's your story. So you need to write down everything that is relevant to that main story and the purpose, the reason why the student came to the office to begin with. Number 2, if there's some kind of number, some kind of fact, chances are it's pretty important and they will ask you about it. So just pay attention to that. Whenever you hear something oddly specific, get suspicious and write it down. Tip number 3. Watch the vibes. That's the best way I can put it. Let me explain what I mean by that. Whether it be a lecture or a conversation, there is a certain type of flow or purpose, right? With lectures, it's easy because the professor is teaching a class. That's the flow. So from A to B, it's pretty clear. If it's a conversation, your A to B is also very clear. The student came to the office for a specific reason. That's A, and then everything that relates to that to get the student to point B, for the student to get what they want, that's your flow of the story. Now, in all of these, they throw something in there to confuse you a little bit, to catch you off guard. The vibe will change for a brief moment, but the vibe will change. For example, the professor is teaching the lecture and then they stop and they say, never mind. I'm not gonna write it on the board because you have it in your handouts. Let's keep moving. That's a vibe change, right? From A to B, there's a little stop. Pay attention to that. If it's a conversation between a student and the admissions office person, there's gonna be something that will make us take a slight detour. The student came to the office to transfer to a different program, correct? Correct. Now, the person working in the office will ask a question that doesn't relate to that. They will ask for something else. Oh, by the way, I meant to ask you, can you help us with going away party for one of the professors or something? It's gonna be completely unrelated. And they will resolve it pretty fast, but the vibe changed. Pay attention to that because they will ask you about it. The purpose behind that is for them to test your ability to stay on track and stay focused, because in a classroom, things will happen. But as a student, you still need to, learn the material. And they want you to pay attention to everything and understand what's going on. So they will ask you about those things. So watch out for the vibe. Number 4, don't waste time writing out words in full. Create some kind of code for yourself, right? Or just use shorter versions of words that you know. Like, for example, I would never write people. I will just write PPL. And if I know that the conversation is between a student and a professor, I'm gonna say S for student and then P for professor. For increasing, I'm just gonna draw an arrow up. For, becoming smaller or decreasing, I will do arrow down, and all of those things, right? Symbols, codes, short versions, whatever you gotta do to save time, do that. Nobody's gonna check your notes. Your notes are for you. As long as you can understand that, you can do whatever you want. Now, if you're taking TOEFL IBT Home Edition, the note-taking process is very, very specific because they want you basically to be able to erase it, right? So they recommend getting like a small whiteboard, which I have one somewhere from my test. I just don't know where it is, but I have one. Or you can grab a piece of paper and like a plastic sheet, a clear sheet, and write with a marker and then just wipe it. But they don't want you to keep any of the notes after you're done. So if you don't have something like that, they're not gonna let you take notes. So make sure you're prepared. I wasn't last time I took it. Last time I took it, I forgot about it, and I had to drive to the store to get a whiteboard, literally like maybe like an hour before or something like that, which wasn't ideal. So be better than me and prepare. I talk way more about different note-taking techniques in my online course, How to Score 100+ on TOEFL Without Trying Too Hard. I show you my personal coding system and how to organize notes, how my notes help me answer questions. We do a real exam task and find a balance between listening and note-taking. TOEFL IBT success is all about knowing exactly how to answer every question and fulfill every task. And in my course, How to Score 100+ on TOEFL Without Trying Too Hard, that's exactly what we're doing. We are focusing on learning exactly what you're supposed to know and what you're supposed to do for each and every question, task type, section, and we do that with the entire exam. I show you all of my strategies as well as different tricks that they try to play on you. And those little traps that the test makers set for you, many fall for it and many don't do as well as they could have. But not us. We're gonna avoid all of them. We're actually gonna take advantage of them because we know exactly why they do what they do. And we can leverage that information into an incredible score. And of course, I give you a lot of practice opportunities with proper instructions on how to actually succeed on each question and task type. Because me personally, I'm not a good test taker and I hate taking tests, but I needed TOEFL. And my job was to find the quickest, easiest way to get the highest score possible. We're busy, we got things to do, we need to make our English better. We don't have time to worry about TOEFL. And that's exactly how we approach my course. So if you're ready, check out the link down below. Tip number 2, you wanna make sure you practice active listening. And by active listening, I mean listening, paying attention, and listening for different details. Academic lectures are pretty tough because they are just incredibly boring. And this is exactly why you need to be prepared for that. So try to listen as much as possible. Listen to podcasts in English, listen to news, academic lectures, TED Talks, whatever the case may be, and always try to retell or summarize what you heard in your own words. That's a very useful skill. And that's what I call active listening. Even if it's not perfect, you are using the right muscles when you're doing that. And just like any muscle, you gotta train it and make it stronger. Down below, you'll find the list of all of the useful resources. And of course, in one of my previous videos, I've already talked about some extra resources for TOEFL listening. You're taking TOEFL because you're probably trying to go to school in America anyway. So it's not like it's gonna be a useless or test-only sort of activity. You're gonna need that anyway. So focus on your academic vocabulary and make sure you understand those basic terms that are required for any student in America. Like what are credits, what are prerequisites, what are extracurriculars, what are, whatever, hand in assignment, transfer credits, pay tuition. You got to learn. And I made a pretty extensive list of everything you need to know, and that's also a part of my online course, how to score 100+ on TOEFL without trying too hard. So if you want to join the course, I already found all of them for you, and you can have them. And the last tip is one of the most important ones, that's for sure. You need to become more comfortable with listening, actively listening to something you don't care about. That's tough, because with all of these lectures especially, maybe I'm just projecting, myself onto you, and I don't want to do that, but that was the hardest part for me. With all the conversations, I could stay engaged, but for lectures, it was so difficult for me to focus and pay attention. So become more comfortable with actively listening to information that you deeply do not care about. And in order to do that, you need to understand structure, right? Listen for structure, and like I mentioned before, understand your A to B, where we are now when we start and where we're going. What's the purpose of this conversation? What's the goal? What are we trying to accomplish here? That way, all of the little distractions that they sprinkle in there just to confuse you won't confuse you. They won't catch you off guard, and they will not throw you off balance. And that's the most important thing, because things will happen in those audios that could make you panic. Wait, what's going on? What's happening? Don't do that. Just relax, listen, and be ready for whatever they're throwing your way, because they will. Their job as test makers is to test your limits, and they will do whatever it takes to make you freak out. Don't give them the satisfaction. Stay cool, stay calm and collected, and just listen for details. Take notes. Don't forget to take notes, and you'll be fine. So to sum it up, for the TOEFL listening section, you need about average listening skills. You need incredible concentration skills. You need decent note-taking skills. And that's it. And if you're serious about your TOEFL prep and you want to get the highest score you possibly can, check out my online course, How to Score 100+ on TOEFL Without Trying Too Hard. The link is down below. I'll be waiting for you there. All right, thank you guys so much. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.